Jean-Paul Sartre philosophized that humans can live their lives in one of two states: good faith and bad faith. Faith is determined by one's ability to put freedoms and complete humanity above preconceived rules or expectations. In 1979, a high school janitor named Paul Westberg formed a band with friends Bob Stinton and his 11-year-old brother Tommy. The band, christened as The Replacements, began a decade-spanning career that would exemplify the teachings of Sartre and his theories of faith. Consider this quote from Robert Christgau, the self-proclaimed dean of American rock and roll critics, and basically the Harold Bloom of Western contemporary music. Bands like these don't have roots, or principles either. They just have stuff they like. The Replacements followed no leads, adhered to no conventions, and respected no authority. Their musical style was evolving, often in wildly contradicting directions. The release of the band's second studio album, Hootenanny, saw intense lashback from longtime fans for its departure from the band's signature hard and fast punk style. Instead, Hootenanny was a blend of songs that pulled inspiration from blues, rockabilly, boogie, country, and techno of all genres. This type of vast experimentation was practically unheard of from well-established punk outfits. To many, Hootenanny seemed to be a sort of self-sabotage, an attempt to break the rules of their own scene, their own genre. The frontman Bill Westberg, even an anti-establishment scene like punk, quote, "There were rules that you couldn't do, and you had to be fast, and you had to wear black, and you couldn't wear a plaid shirt with flares." And so, the Replacements, unwilling to adhere to any restrictions whatsoever, broke from the punk scene.
So like we write about what we want to write about, we act where we are, we don't pretend. And it's like people won't accept that because they're used to a packaged kind of thing where you have to put on to be accepted. You know, you have to look good on TV, you have to act like you're into it. And sometimes we're not into it and we don't pretend that we are, you know?
To Sartre, the actions of the band would reflect the perfect essence of good faith. The Mats were unwilling to be limited by their genre, their fans, or ambitions of success. They were booked for a private show for major industry reps. Most demand would play their best material. The Replacements played a boozed-up plane crash, filled with obscure songs and covers. They were unwilling to bend to the invisible rules of entrepreneurship, especially if it meant curbing their own values. They only wanted to do what they wanted to do. They played by their own rules, not the rules of others, and they held nothing as sacred or off-limits, naming their third studio album Let It Be, in a move of defiance against the lofty and dietetic perceptions of bands like the Beatles. In fact, they were seriously considering naming their follow-up album Let It Bleed. They sought to appease no one. In the eyes of Sartre, they are truly authentic artists. And in fact, their career serves as perfect evidence for the effectiveness of living with good faith. Although the Replacements never garnered financial breakthrough in their active years, they have since been hailed as the pioneers of alternative rock. Albums like Hootenanny and Let It Be have become essential staples of contemporary popular music, and the band has since risen to the status of legends. They did all this without compromise and without bad faith. In their later years, the Replacement sound became more subdued and sober, less experimental and more radio-friendly. This prompted many to assume the big record labels have tamed them into producing by-the-book hits. And yet, it may be that this again was the Mats' unwillingness to adhere to rules of any kind. Perhaps Westberg simply wanted to explore poppier and more subdued avenues. We'll never know. Westberg and the Mats are continuing to subvert any and all expectations as they observe the basic Sartrean principles of authenticity and good faith.
Some people see us as like entertaining and stuff like that, and I guess we do put on a show, but we basically do this for ourselves. And a lot of people understand that, and they follow that. We've been pretty patient so far. We've been around 8 years, and it's like we're not going to be an overnight sensation, and it's too late for that.